everybody, it's Erich Davies. I'm the creator of Eerie Hour with Erich, and oh, my hair's all messed up in this photo. Anyway, we're at the Indiana State Fair. We're specifically on the little sky ride portion, and I'm about to about two hours maybe play a gig at the Opry Barn stage here with Buck Rogers Jr. and the La Louisiane Band, so I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, I'm also here with our cameraman. He also did a guest segment about a couple weeks ago, was it?
The Count.
Yeah, The Count. But anyway, tonight's episode is going to be another guest segment, and yes, I'll reveal this one. It's going to be one of my good friends. Her name's Allie. You may recognize her as the ghost Melanie from the trailer. So that's how she's going to introduce herself tonight. So anyway, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's episode of Eerie Hour with Erich.
Aren't you scared? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Eerie Hour with Erich. I'm Melanie, and I'm your guest host. Welcome to Around the Fire, where we'll tell scary stories of the strange, the macabre, and various urban legends. Tonight's story comes from Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones, a book by Alvin Schwartz. And the story is called The Dead Hand. The village huddled on the edge of a vast swamp. As far as one could see, there were soggy meadows, holes filled with black water, and glistening sheets of wet, spongy peat. Skeletons of giant trees, snags, the people called them, rose up out of the muck, their dead branches reaching out like long, twisted arms. During the day, the men in the village cut the peat and hauled it home to dry and sell for fuel. But when the sun went down and the wind sighing and moaning came in from the sea, the men were quick to leave. Strange creatures took over the swamp at night, and some even into the village, or at least that's what everyone said. People were so afraid they would not go out alone after dark. Young Tom Pattison was the only person in the village who did not believe in these creatures. On his way home from work, he whispered to his friends, "There's one!" And they would jump and run, and Tom would laugh and laugh. Finally, some of his friends turned on him. "If you know so much," they said, "go back into the swamp some night and see what comes out of it." "I'll do it," said Tom. "I work out there every day. Not once have I ever seen anything to frighten me. Why should it be any different at night? Tomorrow night, I'll take my lantern and walk out to the willow snag. If I get scared and run, I'll never make fun of you again." The next night, the men went to Tom Pattison's house to see him on his way. Thick clouds covered the moon. It was the blackest of nights. When they arrived, Tom's mother was pleading with him not to go. "I'll be all right," he said. "There's nothing to be afraid of. Don't be foolish like the rest." He took his lantern and, singing to himself, headed down the spongy path toward the willow snag. Some of the young men wondered if Tom wasn't right. Maybe they were afraid of things that didn't exist. A few decided to follow him and see for themselves, but they stayed far behind in case he ran into trouble. They were sure they saw dark shapes moving about, but Tom's lantern kept bobbing up and down, and Tom's songs kept floating back to them, and nothing happened. Finally, they caught sight of the willow snags. There was Tom, standing in a circle of light, looking this way and that. All of a sudden, the wind blew his lantern, and Tom stopped singing. The men stood stock still in the blackness, waiting for something awful to happen. The clouds shifted, and the moon came out. There was Tom again, only now he had his back pushed up against the willow snags, and he had his arms out in front of him, as if he were fighting something off. From where the men stood, it looked like dark shapes were swirling around him. Then the clouds covered the moon again. Once more, it was black as pitch. When the moon came out again, Tom was hanging on to the willow snag with one arm. His other arm was stretching out in front of him, as if something was pulling it. It looked to the men as if a rotting, molding hand with no arm, a dead hand, had grabbed Tom's hand. With one final wrench, whatever had a hold of Tom jerked him into the muck. That's what the men said. When the clouds blotted out the moon once more, the men turned and they ran through the blackness toward the village. Again and again they lost their path and fell into the muck and the water holes. In the end, they crawled back on their hands and knees, but Tom Pattison was not with them. In the morning, the people searched everywhere for Tom. Finally, they gave him up for lost. A few weeks later, toward evening, the villagers heard a cry. It was Tom's mother. She was rushing down the path from the swamp, shouting and waving. When she was sure the villagers had spotted her, she turned and ran back. Off they went after her. They found young Tom Pattison by the willow snag, groaning and gibbering as if he had lost his mind. He kept pointing with one hand at something only he could see. Where his other hand should have been, there was nothing but a ragged stump oozing blood. The hand had been ripped clean off. Everybody said it was a dead hand that had done it, but nobody really knows. Nobody will ever know, except Tom Pattison, and he never spoke another word again. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all the viewers. So if you could do me a huge favor, go hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that little notification bell so that you can get all the Eerie Hour with Erich content and check out the channel. Feel free to share this video and like us on both Facebook and on Instagram. As Eerie Erich would put it, dreams can become reality, but dreams can also become nightmares. But can nightmares become reality? Well then, you be the judge. Tune in next time for the next episode of Eerie Hour with Erich.